around us. Maybe you saw some on the way to class tonight. If you drove down Leopard, you may have seen some of them, maybe standing out begging for something to eat. Or maybe when you go to the mall, you've seen them on the corner, holding a sign, we'll work for food, or family in need. They're the homeless, the poor families in our society, in Corpus Christi specifically. After listening to my speech tonight, you'll be able to see how helping the poor will help them, and it will help you when you give. And you'll also see that it will help other people who might be watching or might be listening, like yourself tonight. The poor with very little to give us, they actually give us more than we actually give them. I know from my own family, I'm going to tonight share a personal testimony how that we accidentally or maybe providentially helped a poor family. And tonight I'd like to share this family's name with you. They're the Snelson family. They had many, many needs. Now, according to her book, Cheryl Gorder, in Homeless Without Addresses in America, she says that there are 3 specific things that everybody needs, that all families need. Number 1, food, then clothing, and then shelter. Well, this family that I'm going to talk about tonight, they had these needs. They had all these needs. There were 7 kids living in a motel room, actually a small, old motel room right down here on Leopard Street. And they lived across the street from our church that we attended. The kids started coming to church, and they shared how the conditions that they lived in and all, but they were real happy. They loved each other, had mom and dad there in the motel, but they didn't have very much. My wife shares a testimony with me, which I've written down here. And she says, I quote, "I think of how this large family of little people would stick together and share everything. 6 even shared a fold-out sofa to sleep on. The youngest slept with their parents, and yet they were so proud of one another and protective. They were so happy with what you and I would call nothing." Well, their life was mysterious, and they had some things to share with us that we would later find out. If anybody would just take the time to share with people like that, you get a real blessing out of it. The way our 2 families met is their kids started coming to the church that we attended. Their mom and dad did not come. And the birthday party that 2 of the boys had, these boys were around 11 or 12 years old. They had a birthday party for them over at the motel, old rundown motel, sorry pool, something you probably wouldn't go swimming in. They said, bring your swimming trunks. We did. We went swimming. And you just don't think about those kind of things when you're helping people. You just give your heart and you do it. We ate on some plates, that birthday cake. The plates had spaghetti stains on it. I know the one I got did. Had cake and ice cream on it. Well, we had to eat it. What are you going to say? I mean, they ate on things like that. So we went ahead and ate, enjoyed the birthday, went swimming, and I'm alive today. I didn't catch any disease. Their dad had a job at Circle K, but just wasn't making enough money to make the motel. So I found a job for him, and I got him to go interview. And he didn't know that later I went behind him and talked to the manager, who had a short arm himself, handicapped manager. And I said, this family's in a real need. Could you help them? And don't let them know that I'm telling you this. And he said, sure. Well, Tom, the dad, said, Barry, I got that job. And he was like a little kid. He got that job, and it was really neat. And I don't think to this day he knows that somebody was working behind the scenes there. And it was a real blessing to me. Took their kids to teen camp. Their kids got labeled Buzzsaw and Stinky at camp. One of them had a shaved hair, one, well, I don't know if he stunk or what, but it's funny, but it's cute. And they were just tickled to death that people were giving them attention. They got T-shirts given to them at camp, and probably the first clean T-shirts they'd ever had in their life. They threw all their T-shirts and stuff and luggage and whatever, clothes all in a bag, and they tied them up with a dirty old laundry bag that you and I would throw out. They were so proud of that. They pulled their bunks up to each other, okay, head to head. These are white boys, 11 or 12 years old. pull their bunks up head to head as if to say, we love each other, and we miss home. We miss our siblings back home. But they were very, very proud of that they were at camp and all. One Christmas this following summer, they moved downtown to what you and I would call a crack house, not too far from Delmar College here. Actually, not too far from the library downtown. They moved in what you and I would call a crack house. And they did not have a Christmas tree, did not have gifts. We found out about it. Some of us got together, my family, we took them a Christmas tree, some gifts, and all, knocked on the door, they opened the door, their jaws dropped. We laid out all the gifts and stuff, and they were just running around decorating the tree, and obviously the first time they'd ever had a tree. That was one of the most memorable Christmases that we have ever had. Our giving that we did inspired other people to give. It happens that way. There are supporters that will support you when you're doing things like that, and there's critics. We have some supporters. One family is the Bryant family. And I asked Don Bryant to write down some little words for me. She shares, and I quote, "The Christmas that 3 or 4 families from church got together, shared the real spirit of Christmas with these precious children was unforgettable." Unquote. Then there were some critics, people that did not like what was going on. There always are, there always will be. One family in the church said, "Kids, y'all can't come anymore. We're changing the name of this church." We found out later, and we went and told the kids, "Hey, that's a lie." And they came back to church. Even our preacher, didn't treat them very nice. And the kids told us that. But there's critics everywhere in life. You just don't look at the critics. You just go about and you help people. And don't worry about the critics. And life goes on. People helping others, giving unto others, that's what life is all about. I believe that's best stated in a verse in the Bible, John 3:16. "For God so loved the world that He gave." And that's to teach us to give. Now that you've shared these few moments with me, I thank you for giving me your heart. I hope you now see that giving helps those we give to. It helps you that do the giving. And it helps others who are listening, might be watching, like the class here. Now the poor can't give much. But what they do give, it's worth a gold. It's worth gold to us. It's funny how that works. Any questions?
Where's the family today?
We lost touch with them. As homeless families are, you lose their transitional type of people. They started off on the New Oasis River, as far as I can remember. Down there living in a tent. This is an Anglo family. I'm not sharing a minority family. This is an Anglo family. I had their Bible that they somehow left. And, my son's lost it.
Okay, Barry, thank you very much.
I don't see anything moving. I don't know if I pressed it hard enough or not.
Yeah, in the bottom of the picture, you see an REC.
Oh, okay. All right, so we're on then. Okay.
Oh man, winter already? Where has the time gone? Summer's already passed and winter's already upon us, staring us right in the face. Our winters in South Texas are anything but typical. Unpredictable, to say the very least. Well, what do we do about our winters? How do we prepare for our winters? Well, after listening to my speech tonight, my audience will see that to prepare for winter, you need to think about your car. You need to think about your home or your apartment, whichever one you live in, or your own body. Now, some of these things may appear to be common sense, but I'd like to share some things with you, some things that you possibly may have not thought about. I put together a winter checklist in case you forget some things tonight. And that winter checklist has to do with my speech. It'll be back there on the table as you go out tonight, and if you'd like to take one, take a look at it. And you might even add some things to it later on. It'll be back there on the back table. But I bet you're wondering, what are the steps in preparing for winter? First of all, I'd like to begin with your automobile. You might first begin looking in your owner's manual in your glove compartment, if you still have that owner's manual. Take a look at there. It'll give you some ideas that it'll help you to get ready for the winter season. But if you're like me, you don't have time to mess with your car, you have a favorite mechanic, you want to take it to your mechanic. Well, there are some things that he might share with you. As my mechanic, Mike Moses, at Exxon out in Annabelle, Ron Motes Exxon, Mike Moses shared some things with me that I'd like to share with you tonight. First of all, check your battery water and voltage of your battery, since your car is harder to start in the wintertime. So be sure and check your water. Check your antifreeze to make sure that it's good for minus 34 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, if you're like me, I don't know how to do that. That's why I rely upon my mechanic. Here's some example of some antifreeze. You want to check your heater operation. Now, probably you've already done that this year. But you want to check your heater. Make sure it's working properly. If it's not working properly, then your mechanic is going to probably tell you that your thermostat has gone out on you. And once again, if you're like me, you're not going to replace it. They'll do it for you. He'll also check your belts and your hoses. Make sure they're not cracked. When you get the cold weather, they have a tendency to crack on you. Checking your wiper blades. Now, if you have a wiper blade that's doing this, go ahead and take a look. Pull on your wiper blade. If it's doing this number, then go down to AutoZone and buy you some, or again, let your mechanic fix that for you. Another thing that people forget is this wiper, or actually is this windshield washer fluid you add to your reservoir. You pick that up, but your mechanic can put it in for you. If you have pure water in your reservoir, you may end up busting your reservoir, and you got to think about that. And we don't want to forget our oil. Changing your oil. If you don't change your oil, once again, your mechanic, my mechanic shared with me that 10W30 is typical for the season around here that we deal with winter and all. But once your auto has been taken care of, you feel comfortable about that, and you want to move on to your home. Well, what are some things you can do in your home? Well, one thing you can do is you can put weather stripping around your doors and your windows. Check to see if your windows and doors, if you see any light coming through, if you feel any air coming through, you can do that. Something very easy to do. If you have an air filter on your air conditioning system in your home or apartment, whichever one you live in, or maybe you live with your parents, well, help them out. They have an air filter that needs to be changed. And according to CP&L, in this little book, Do-It-Yourself Projects, they say that you should change out your air filter every 3 to 4 weeks, or at least check your air filter every 3 to 4 weeks. Some people throw theirs away, or some people's are clean. You can clean them with water and wash them out, depending on what type it is. And by the way, I also have this book back there. You're welcome to take that with you. CP&L shared that with me. Caulking. You can try caulking your home. Now, if you're not into any of this do-it-yourself stuff, then you can get a hold of your favorite carpenter. Look in Yellow Pages, look in the phone book, and they'll refer you to somebody. Information to save energy, keep us warm in the winter, will also keep us cool in the summertime. Save energy, and then isn't that what we're all interested in doing, saving energy? Now, if your house has electric gas, or actually has electric or gas space heaters, those are very dangerous. You need to check those, make sure those are working properly, clean them out with a vacuum cleaner, or take them outside, I've done before, and you blow them out. If you're not into that, once again, you can get a hold of someone that's a professional at doing that. Same with the fireplace. Be sure your fireplace is clean, the hearth is cleaned out, and make sure that there's no dust and debris in there. You can do that yourself, or you can help a professional to do that as well. Well, once we've taken care of our homes, or actually our cars, we've taken care of our homes, we need to take care of our body. Now, I've asked my daughter to dress Barbie up for winter, the way she sees it. And she came downstairs and brought that to me. Well, you can see Barbie has her coat on, and slacks, and warm shoes. But maybe your coat's put away, tucked away. Maybe it doesn't fit this year. So you might need to go shopping, buy you some of those. If you're an outdoors person and you get around things where your hands will get chapped and whatever, you can use lotion. Now, Vitality Magazine, they share an article that the important step to avoiding or curing winter itch is to keep skin moisturized and protected from the harsh, cold weather elements. So you might try some lotion. It's important to keep moisture in your skin. And some people carry around lip balm. Very good. I personally use it. It's good stuff. And especially in winter, never need it in the summertime. Some people go to see their physician at this time of year for a flu shot. If you're a flu shot type of person, you might want to get that done. Think about that. I don't take the flu shot, but God's been good to me. I don't get the flu. I haven't had it yet. But if you're a flu shot person, you need that. You might want to consult your physician on that. Because even our bodies are not immune to the winter season. Now that our body is under control, our home is under control, our auto is under control, then we're ready. We're ready for the winter season. Now, even though Old Man Winter hasn't knocked very hard yet on our door, watch out, because he can offer a pretty hard punch every now and then. Anybody have any questions?
Okay, Barry, thank you very much.
Anything can be arranged within reason.
May I request a particular guide?
Sure. Who'd you have in mind? Randy Jensen?
Jensen.
A young lady who...
Privileged this evening to be able to introduce to you our first speaker, Barry Pickens. Tonight, Barry's going to be talking about the gift of life, giving the gift of life, which is donating blood. And Barry started donating blood about 8 months ago whenever a friend of his had a great need, and so Barry was there for him. And through extensive research and plus personal action, Barry comes to you tonight with a speech. And you really need to listen to the speech tonight because you might learn something, because there's always a need for people that need blood. And you may need blood, or a family member may need blood, and so you really need to listen tonight. Without further ado, Barry.
Blood. Just the mere thought of it, the very word of it itself brings many thoughts to our minds, many different mixed emotions. Webster describes or defines blood as fluid in the arteries of animals, and that's it, just a basic definition. In our case here tonight, we're going to talk about humans. The fluid in the arteries of humans. Just recently, I went down to the library to do some research on this, and I
I looked at a video, and a very interesting video on how our blood is made. And our blood is so fantastic. It has so many different things about it, so many different makeups. And I came away from watching that video with just, I think my first impression was, God, you made us so wonderful, and you did such a wonderful job. And so I was really excited about it, and that's one reason I wanted to speak on this tonight. Well, blood is a life-giving substance, as we know, and none of us wants to part with our blood, and we hate to part with our blood. It hasn't been too long ago that I began to give blood, about 7 or 8 months ago. This gentleman you see up here in the corner, his name is Ransom Douglas. He goes to church where I go to church, and he was thrown from his pickup in August, literally thrown out. Ransom Douglas is recovering right now. I called him just last night. But he told me that he received 2 pints of blood from our church donation. And I got to be a part of that. And that really made me feel very good. Well, after listening to my speech tonight, you'll see how very few people understand about giving blood. And once you understand it, you'll be able to make a wise decision yourself, and maybe you'll give blood. First of all, I'd like to address the need, because we're not going to do anything unless we see that there's a real need for it. And I'll put together a poster that might help you see that. And I've called it the need here. Now, the American Red Cross says that the units that are needed, a unit is about a pint of blood, when you think of a unit. The units that are needed in any given year are 14 million units. Now, that is a lot of units. Now, I broke that down, starting with the United States, taking overall, and I did a U.S. Census Bureau count on the website just the other night, and there's about 270 million people in the United States. Now, you take a look at how many are giving, 8 million. Look at that small chunk. 3% are actually blood donors that are good for life. That's what I put on there. Then let's get down to a little bit more of a local level. And we're looking here at a local level. According to the Community Blood Bank, there's 450,000 people in our 10-county area. Out of 450,000, there's only 27,000 donors. And that equates to about 6% that are giving blood. Now, I like to look at things more on a personal note. So where I go to church, we give blood and all. And at my church, I asked Tim Thornton, who's our blood director out there, and he takes care of the blood drive. Out of 530 people in our church, only 30 people are giving blood. And when that was presented to me, that's one thing that was a real motivator to me, is, hey, I'm a healthy individual. I can do something. So 6% of our church, and of course you can see that's better than 3% for the nation. But if you're like me, you like to think on a more personal note, what does that mean? Well, to me it means 30 people are given out of the church that I give at. Now this blood is being given for many, many different reasons. Some of the reasons are for fighting leukemia, for people that are having cancer problems. It's for helping them fight cancer. And other diseases. There's many other diseases that I won't go into, but there are many diseases. So as you can see, there's a great need. And I think that pie over there really shows you there's a really great need for healthy people. There's a lot of healthy people, even in this room here. So I believe the chart illustrates that. And then I'd like to show you a picture of an individual who I ran across during this course of study and all. And this individual's name is Brian James. Well, Brian's mother works over at the Community Blood Bank. And I asked her, why did you begin to work there? She said, well, because when my son was born, he had to have open heart surgery, and he needed blood. Then at the age of 7 or 8 years old, he also needed blood. And she said he had O negative. And nobody was there to answer the call except one lady. She said that meant a lot to her. And that story really did touch me. If you ask her today, her name is Cindy James, she'll shower you with thankfulness. Just shower you with thankfulness. It's all written all over her face. Well, you've been given you've seen the need on the flip side of this chart, okay? And you can kind of see on this side here what it's going to take to satisfy that need. Well, it took a donor. Of course, I'm just one person, okay? I'm just one person. And it took a donor for this man that was thrown from his truck, which I showed you an earlier picture of. It took a donor for him. You have recipients, well, you've got to have donors to take care of those needs. I'd like to read a quote to you from the American Association of Blood Banks, because a lot of people have concern about donating blood. And they say that donating a pint of blood never places the donor at risk for disease, since collection kits are sterile and disposable and discarded after each use. Now, the donor procedure is really quite easy. You go in, they will ask you some questions. You'll fill out this little form. They'll prick your finger, check your little, blood, hemoglobin level, whatever, and a few other things. Check your blood pressure, check your temperature. You go down, you'll give your blood. It takes about 10 minutes. They'll sit on this chair or whatever, and it takes about 10 minutes. And then they'll give you a cookie and juice afterwards, and tell you to just sit there for a few minutes and kind of watch it. So it's pretty basic, pretty easy. Now, I want to address just real briefly that there are some people that don't give blood because of religious aspects. And in America, we have that freedom to do that. And I did a lot of research on that. And I really appreciate people that have taken a stand for their religious convictions and biblical stand for their convictions and all. Because really what has happened as a result of that, it's made doctors and the medical industry look for alternatives. So really, it has really been a really plus for people to have rejected blood transfusions and all. So I really appreciate people that have taken strong convictions. Now there's a fear factor. If you're like me, I hate to be stuck. I cried on shots. So it was a real fear factor for me to overcome the other day. Do I let them stick me? Yeah, I did let them, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So there was imagined pain there. So here you have a donor, and I put a question mark here. Because maybe that is you. Maybe you're that healthy individual that you see that chart and you say, man, I need to be in on that, and I want to help people. And you have family and you have friends and all. So I hope that you'll listen to your heart, and you'll go down to your local blood bank or wherever you can give blood, and you'll help people like these recipients here, and make someone else's life a happy life. And when you do that, you might end up like this, standing beside the blood mobile and being very happy. Anybody have any questions?
Have you ever looked up, I know that I can't give blood because of some certain immunities that I've been given in the military.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
yellow fever,
there are
yellow
some
fever
people that
shot.
can't, yeah, right. You've been overseas in some places, you're not allowed to give if you've had some types of diseases. And during the screening process, they pretty much weed out all of that. I was really impressed with the facility over there, the community blood bank. They go through rigorous testing of blood over there, which made me really appreciate our blood system. And if healthy people don't give, who's going to give? So me adding to the system is going to improve our blood supply.
Okay, Barry, thank you very much.
By the way, I've got a packet of information for each one of you. It's some good information about your types of blood and all. And also, if you give during the Christmas season, they give you a little ornament.
What's the time, please?
9:16.